Spring is nearly upon us, and it is time to spring into even more board games and everything Board Game Geek.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Bros Murph, and that's right, it's time for Best of BGG, our monthly show where we talk about a whole bunch of different stuff in BGG, some news, some hotness, some of our own personal picks, our favorite game of the month. Let's go to get in that news.
This is just a reminder that BGG Spring is Memorial Day weekend in May, so it's coming up sooner than you think, and you can register for that convention right now. It's in the Dallas Fort Worth Airport. There's an awesome hotel. Everything that you're gonna need for all your gaming needs is gonna be right there, so you can register. There's links in the description of this video to go and register and get your hotel room and things or whatever you wanna do. It's a really fun, laid-back convention twice a year, so BGG Spring, again, is first up. And we would love to see you there, so come on down.
A bit of Board Game Geek news is a Geek store update. Big Geek Up bit news. There have been a number of Geek Up sets that have been permanently lowered in price, so make sure to check those out. We also now have Geek Up bits for Wormspan, Tapestry, Ginkopolis, which is one of our favorite games, Dice Throne Adventures, and more. It's super, super cool. If you love some Geek Up bits, we love some Geek Up bits. Make sure to check those out, and make sure to check out the ones that have been lowered, because let's be honest, if you got a deal, go get it.
All right, so it's a little bit of Board Game Geek news for you. Do go and check out all that good stuff right there. But speaking of good stuff, we're gonna talk about all the games that people are talking about right now. Things that people are clicking on, viewing, purchasing, playing, all that stuff. It's time for the BGG Hotness right over there. All right, so we are here at the table of hotness, in these chairs where there's no table present.
Table right here, kinda, yeah.
You get it. We're here to talk about the games that the most people have talked about, clicked on, and been excited for, so let's get right to it. All right, so number 10 is Arydia, The Paths We Dare to Tread.
This was got delivered to people, I think it was on last month's list. It's getting delivered to people. This is a big co-op legacy game where
Green Legacy.
It's a green legacy specifically. Yeah, that basically means it's a campaign-driven game, but you're not tearing anything up. And they specifically are like, hey, when you're done with the game, pack it up, give it to someone. You know, sell it on or just gift it to someone. I really think that's cool and nice when publishers do that. Again, it makes sense. Certain games you rip things up, that's totally fine. But it is really cool when they're like actively like, yeah, pass it along. Like let someone else enjoy the game. Yeah. You know, I think that's really, really cool.
Trying to spread the love as as far and wide as possible. This is a game where you're gonna be playing different kind of unique characters, and you are in an open world setting to kind of explore as you wish.
Yes.
And kind of level up your characters and things as you would expect. Get better weapons.
Combat, lots of different stuff.
Yeah, but this one really is focused on, I think, kind of like making the story what you want and doing things in whatever order.
Lots of role-playing
stuff. Kind of like a big, open world like video game and stuff. So this is one that's been getting in people's hands and stuff. Another big co-op legacy type dungeon delver kind of goodness and stuff.
Yep.
Number 9 is Ark Nova.
It's usually here.
What?
Yeah, I know. Arcs isn't on the list of times.
That's crazy to me.
There's a couple other stuff. Yeah, Ark Nova and Arcs are both usually on the list, at least both of them or at least one of them. Yes. Ark Nova is here. I mean, that kind of 2021 wasn't that?
Yeah, I think it's been propelled by the them announcing the kind of big box 3D terrain.
But it's just always here. I mean, it's probably the most popular game, if not the most top 5 in the last like 10 years. I mean, it's just, it has been absolutely crushing it ever since. You build animals in a zoo. It's incredibly fun. People love it.
Yep.
It's Ark Nova. We talk about it every month. So next up is going to be Tiny Epic Dungeons Adventures. This is kind of like a sequel-ish to Tiny Epic Dungeons, which is their version of a dungeon crawl. If you don't know, Tiny Epic, Gamelyn Games makes a bunch of Tiny Epic games. They all are the exact same size, and all of them, I mean, God, there's so many of them now.
Really,
but a lot of people focus on a specific mechanic, a specific theme. There's like Tiny Epic Pirates, Tiny Epic Mechs, Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, Tiny Epic Quest. There's I don't know how many there are now. Someone put in the comments how many there are. There's a lot of them.
20 or more, probably.
But Tiny Epic Dungeons was kind of their dungeon crawler, and this is kind of a sequel to that, where it used a lot of those mechanics and has updated them, but now it also has like a spiral-bound book to it as well, which is super cool. So you can kind of go through that that dungeon a little more efficiently and stuff like that. But the Tiny Epic games are always fascinating to me because they keep coming up with new ones. They're usually really good. A lot of times they're very innovative, and it's always impressive of what they can fit into this tiny little box.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a really cool thing to have created a nice hook for your games is packing these big game experiences into a very small box.
Yeah.
And yeah, they always do a really interesting job of just the logistics of packing that up, but then also giving you various and varied types of games. Like they really have covered a lot of mechanisms at this point. And yeah, so this is the next one. It's kind of cool to see them do like a follow-up to a previous one of theirs.
Yeah. Next was SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yes, sir.
SETI is, I think, on the best sellers list. I think it's #1. So I think it's really getting into people's hands right now. And I played it the other day. I freaking love SETI.
Yeah, everyone's so lucky to be getting to play for the first time.
I know, right? Get to experience it.
Gosh, SETI is so
fun. We both really like SETI a lot. SETI is a game, again, where you're searching for extraterrestrial intelligence, and you will find them, which is cool.
Yes.
There's always going to be 2 in a game. You don't know which 2. There are 5 in the box, but you do put them face down, so you never know which ones are going to be there. And yeah, you're searching for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI is a real thing in real life. Yep. So you are like scanning the skies, you are launching probes and sending them to orbit the various planets in our solar system, maybe even land on those planets. You're basically searching for evidence of life.
Yeah, and you'll find these traces of life in these different ways.
Little microbes and those little things.
Whatever they are. And once you find a trace of each of the 3 types for an undiscovered alien species, you will then reveal it. And then that is going to give you opportunities for scoring, basically. It's like each of them have their own flavor, their own way that they work, and you kind of interact with them. And they'll allow you to put a bunch more of your pieces onto those kind of trace of life spaces, often, many times which will award you a good amount of points.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you these like new opportunities. I love the fact that you don't know what aliens are going to come out until that midway point in the game, where you might get one or both of them really back to back or spread apart, and all of a sudden I have this like, ooh, these new levers I can pull, and the fact that I don't know what they're going to be at the start, you get this new kind of boost of extra intrigue and interest midway through the game. Is something that's like really been awesome for us personally. We've really enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, I just can't wait to hopefully see more content for this game.
I gotta assume there's gonna be more.
Make more aliens for all time, please. Yeah, this is our favorite game from last year.
Until the sun explodes.
Imagine how dope that'd be. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. So yeah, SETI is, I'm glad to see other people playing as well, because we are personally very big fans.
Next was the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. This is a big chip theory game that is getting into people's hands. A lot of people have been telling us, like, I just got my shipping notification. We did a really big stream of this over on our channel. I really like this game, but this is kind of Elder Scrolls in a box to some degree. It's a chip theory game, but kind of more along the lines of like Too Many Bones, where you're essentially building out pools of dice.
Yeah, you're kind of building up your character. You are adding, weapons and abilities and things like that, and those are going to give you dice to use, and you're kind of like managing this push and pull of your skill set, because you have your player board and there's only so many spaces for dice. And so if I want to be really heavy in a magic ability, for example, and I want to have 6 dice for that, along the row that has, those dice, I may only have like 1 or 2 other slots that I could then maybe potentially put in a different thing. So you're kind of trying to find your build and balance. That's something that I've not quite seen in games where you're building up a character, where it's like you have this like kind of limited inventory space, and that's kind of making you make decisions about what kind of build you have. If you're more defensive, you're more offensive, you're more magic based, or kind of physical attack and stuff like that. There's just a lot of cool ways to build out your character and do it different every time.
Yeah, because again, there's like Skyrim, Oblivion and stuff. There's different different fantasy races. You have different classes, like you're an archer or whatever. All those have different special abilities. But then outside of that, kind of like Skyrim, you could be a wood elf that specializes in heavy armor. It's like you can do whatever you want, like you can, and it's just really cool. You're kind of doing quests and stuff. I really like the game a lot. It's hitting people's hands, and so people are really excited for it. It's really fun.
Yeah, it is.
Next up is Nanty Narking, The Rise of Cthulhu. This is an expansion for Nanty Narking, which is a Martin Wallace game from Phalanx. I almost said Osprey. From Phalanx. And in the original Nanty Narking, you're like kind of in like Victoria area, London and England and stuff there. There's tons of people from that time, like Jack the Ripper and all these kind of different characters. And it's a pretty simple game. We've never played it, but it's a pretty simple game for it. Here, you're kind of playing a card, doing what the card does, trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. And now this is an expansion for it, which I think has a Kickstarter right now.
Right on.
But now this one is like a Cthulhu expansion where now you like are the great old ones. And there's like these huge miniatures for it that are like really, really cool looking and stuff. But I think it has the same, it's an expansion, so you're still playing with Nanty Narking. But
that's so interesting. Because when I first saw that, like, you know, this pop up in the Hotness, I was like, what?
It looks like a Cthulhu Death May Die kind of game.
How do these two things come together?
Yeah, right. It's very odd, but it's people. I know really like the original. And people seem to be really, really digging this new one. Again, it's out on Kickstarter, I think, right now. And the miniatures are like really cool and really big and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like this. It took a different turn, you know.
I mean, as Cthulhu often does.
Why not though? Right?
You're never expecting the ancient ones to show up.
They're always there.
Yeah, but you know they're outside of our perception.
Exactly right. And so that is Nanty Narking. The Rise of Cthulhu. Make sure to check it out.
Next up is the Lost Ruins of Arnak Adventure Chest. They've kind of announced them a big box and expansion.
Which has an expansion too,
yeah. So we'll have new content and stuff, and this is also a storage solution for Arnak and all of its expansions. Everything will fit into one box now. It's a more robust box.
It'll still fit into a Kallax.
Because it's heavy, it'll still fit into a Kallax. You gotta make sure it does that. But yeah, so this is no surprise that this would pop up in the Hotness because Arnak has been perpetually in and around the Hotness ever since it came out.
It's always around.
I'm sure people have been really waiting for a big box because now there's been two expansions. This will provide a third expansion as well as the storage solution. So it'd be nice to have everything kind of in one box that isn't, super overstuffed and everything like that.
Yeah, and this I know adds another 2 boards, so another double-sided board. There's now new research tracks and stuff like that. So it's like that kind of stuff.
It's gonna be a lot of nice content. Yeah,
you're gonna
imagine more items, more artifacts. I would assume.
Yeah, then everything can go in the box. The box is like bigger and sturdier and stuff like that because Lost Ruins is heavy when everything is in there.
It's a lot of cardboard.
So it'll be even more robust, which is cool. But nonetheless, people love some Lost Ruins. So when this got announced, people were pretty hyped, and it's all over the Hotness.
Oh yeah.
Next was Katamai, the Bear of Brooks Rivers. Katamai is in Alaska, and it's kind of the area where all the big brown bears go to eat all the salmon. They stand in the river. And honestly, it sounds fun.
It does sound
like
fun.
Salmon are big. I would love to just stand there and be like, I just see it.
I would love to see if I could just catch a salmon with my bare hands.
It seems like a good time. But it's that kind of stereotypical image of the grizzlies and the big brown bears gorging themselves on salmon and stuff. So this is a 2-player game from Osprey where you are playing bears out to those different rivers. Essentially kind of like an area control game.
So cool.
And you're basically trying to put those out and basically trying to like eat as much as possible. I think it's a really cool theme for like a 2-player kind of like head-to-head area control game.
Yeah, and like it's an interesting phenomena like that happens that because of the board state and the way you can kind of do things, like it actually kind of makes sense for a board game. Like it's kind of like I personally haven't seen another game that tackles this thing that happens every year in nature, and I'm like, oh, it totally works as an idea for a board game.
You're just jockeying for position and stuff like that. Trying to eat some salmon because it looks fun. So I was like, oh, I saw the cover's gorgeous. I was like,
beautiful.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. That seems like a cool kind of twist on the nature theme, It's not just, it's about a very specific thing in nature that happens up in Alaska.
Yeah, and we're always intrigued about 2-player games. So
yes,
the fact it's a 2-player specific game, I'm like, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I could go for some salmon. It is my favorite fish after all, so.
That's true.
Yeah. Number 2 is Vantage. It's popping up, I think, as it's getting closer to...
it says mid-year launch, so Stonemeyer's in full press mode for it,
Stonemeyer Games announced last year that...
mid-year?
This game Vantage, which is a cooperative game. It's another Jamie Stegmaier design.
It's all about your vantage point.
Your vantage point on a map. So wherever you are or I am, we're obviously in different locations, so we have access to different materials, resources, information, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're like a spaceship that crash landed on the site and everyone got separated.
Yeah.
And you can only see what's around you, which is it's like 1 to 6 players, so it's like a really interesting concept.
Yeah,
you know?
and I imagine this is everyone else's case. I'm so curious to find out more. There's been very little information revealed.
Yeah, it's starting to come out a little bit here now,
But like, how it works, what our goals are.
Yeah, I know it's not a campaign game. It's not like a legacy game. So it's just like, I'm very fascinated. It's Stonemaier Games for people. It's also a Jamie Stegmaier design. He doesn't design quite as much as he used to. So
it's been a while.
It's exciting to see. And again, just the concept of like, it's from your vantage point. You can see what you can see. It's very first person for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? What are you doing? That sounds so cool. 1 to 6 players. So it just, I don't know. I'm very fascinated. I think a lot of other people are. It'll be a big hit when it comes out because Stonemaier games tend to be big hits. And it's just an interesting concept. Yeah,
for sure. I haven't seen that in a board game before.
Names matter.
They do.
Because when I saw Moon Colony Bloodbath on the Hotness, I immediately clicked on it and said,
what's going on here?
What is that? Because that is the greatest. Everyone can go, publishers, close up shop. The greatest board game name has already been invented, and it's Moon Colony Bloodbath.
It will be hard to beat that.
Yes,
it will be hard. The cover is great. It's a great pulpy.
It's very pulpy.
It matches the title perfectly. Yeah, and I think every single person is like us. We're like, what does that say? Click, and then that's how stuff gets on the Hotness, right?
Yeah, but this is like a Donald X Vaccarino game who made Dominion. I believe someone else as well. And it's essentially they advertised it as an engine builder, engine losing game because you're building up your engine. But this is, I think, is one of those games where just bad stuff is happening.
Stuff's coming at you all the time.
Bad stuff's happening. It's constantly killing all your citizens. It's just a crisis management game.
It is a bloodbath.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
You can't have it be too tame.
So I think that's what it is. You're building up these resources, building up your engine, but then all this stuff is just coming up to ruin it, which is interesting. Like, I'm very curious about this game because I will play this game based off the name alone. It's like when I saw Surface Horse Max, I was like buying that immediately. Don't care what it's about. It's about surfing dinosaurs. And this is one of those games where I'm like, gonna try it for that reason alone. And I'm kind of curious because like Empire's End, which is another game where it's just like nonstop bad stuff happened to you, I wasn't a massive fan of because it was just like, oh God, you're just getting beat down. So this one, I'm hoping because this one is so pulpy and fun, that will maybe carry me through it, as opposed to like Empire's End, which is just like, kind of just about an empire in general. And like, cause I do think that like light, fun themes on top of like heavy stuff like that can really keep you going. And so I'm actually really optimistic about this game.
Yeah, me too. I really hope that it's awesome. I think it's again, great name.
I hope it's silly as all heck.
I think it will be. I think that can make something like that just extra fun versus feeling punishing. So this is
Moon Colony Bloodbath.
I just love it when publishers take swings, man.
Yes.
And do something different. Do something wacky, do something specific, and
as we've said
really
times,
stand behind it.
If you're gonna paste on your theme, you might as well use tasty glue.
Absolutely.
Use something interesting, right?
And Moon Colony Bloodbath is more interesting than like the Siege of Rome, or something like that. Right? It's like this is more awesome and cool. So can't wait to try that.
Of course, it was at the top of the Hotness because everyone was curious. But nonetheless, that is the 10 hottest games from the last month. What we'll also talk about is the 10 most played games from last month. So again, you can log your plays on BGG. You can also transfer over your plays from things like BG Stats over to BGG. So make sure to do that because you can manipulate this one. But we have number 10, because of BGA, is the White Castle, which is always around the list, but it's getting, you played 27 games last month?
I sure did, yeah.
On BGA,
yep. Played a lot.
So the White Castle has 7,569. Azul, which is usually here, has 7,915. Wingspan has 8,088. Marvel Champions, the card game, which is always here, is 8,129. Forest Shuffle has 8,761. Far Away has 9,149. Sky Team has 11,267. Arc Nova has 12,427. Harmonies has 13,956. What do you think is number 1?
My guess is Azul Duel.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Hold on. Chess.
No, it is the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game.
Oh, yeah.
Which has 15,421.
Wow.
Yeah, 15,421.
That game has been selling like hotcakes, man.
It has one. It's also you can play a whole bunch of games of it in a row, and stuff like that. So, nonetheless, that is the most played games of the month. Make sure to log your plays. It might be. I hear some clinking.
Oh, is it
acrylic bits?
I think I see some Geek Up bits over there. What's that? So for my Murph pick, I read a forum post about light bulb moments, and this caught my eye because the light bulb moment that the author of this post talked about was one that I had, and it was specifically for them about deck building and the idea of trashing cards in a deck builder to get rid of your weaker cards and make sure you have just your best, you know, kind of most powerful things in your deck left over so you have a better chance of drawing a really strong hand. And that's something that I was so hesitant to do early on in playing deck builders. I was just like, why would I want to trash my cards? I like my cards. And then I started to get a little bit better about culling, you know, stuff from your deck, and it really unlocked that mechanism in such a cool way. And so just reading that was a light bulb moment because I saw the kind of topic of this post and I was like, oh, I had a light bulb moment with that, and I read, and they're like, oh, I had a light bulb moment with the exact same thing. And then other people have posted their own light bulb moments if it was about, you know, cracking a certain game or figuring out a certain game mechanism and stuff like that. I think it's a really fun post. I love the forum posts that just give people an opportunity to share their experience around a certain topic. I think it's really fun, and getting into those comments and stuff is really lively and awesome. So I want to know for you in the comments of this video, what are some light bulb moments for you that you had in gaming? Again, for me, it was realizing that trashing your cards in deck builders is amazing. You should always do it. You should trash everything, even the good stuff. Don't do that, but it made that mechanism so much better, and that aha moment is something that I'll always remember.
My Murph pick is going to be this cribbage board from Ender's Game. This is a Celtic Knot cribbage board, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much to say other than this is the coolest cribbage board I think I've ever seen in my life. I love cribbage board. Mike and I do. Usually we talk about something that's really, really cool or like really innovative. I just think this is a really cool cribbage board, and I want to look at it and talk about it. I love cribbage. Mike and I are massive, massive fans of cribbage. We were taught cribbage by our grandparents, and I love interesting cribbage boards. You can usually see behind us, we have this cool like cribbage board that's like all 3D and stuff. Our grandfather was a woodworker in his free time, and one of the main things he made was cribbage boards, and he made them out of tons of stuff. He made like ones out of like deer antlers and stuff. You oftentimes see behind us here, we have a ton of cool cribbage boards. Like this one here that he made. We have this kind of like swirly paddly looking one. We have this really cool like pineapple one. And then kind of like your standard cribbage board right here. Our grandpa made all of these, and they're kind of like really important to us and really big like heirlooms for us that we were able to get a lot of these cribbage boards kind of from him and from various members of our family. So cribbage boards are really important to us. And I think this one, this Celtic Knot cribbage board, is just one of the coolest looking things I've ever seen in my life. I think it's incredible, and I want it. I'm not even Celtic, I want it. I just think it's cool. Cribbage is amazing. All right, so there's some Murph picks. At the very end of the video, we always talk about our personal favorite game of the month. Mike has been holding something this entire time because he wants to talk about
the Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game. This is a commemorative cup. If you have these cups, it means you're super cool, and we're into the Lord of the Rings coming out back in the early 2000s. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game is a trick-taking game that takes you through the story of Fellowship of the Ring kind of in different chapters, and kind of like the crew, it's going to provide you different characters to play, like Gandalf and things. And those characters are going to have specific goals. It might be win 3 or more tricks. If you're Frodo, you might need to win 4 of the 5 ring cards, all sorts of different things like that. And then as you progress through the story, you're going to get additional challenges that come up. New characters will come in and out of the story, providing their own goals, and you're kind of going through this really familiar tale based on the books. So you get characters like Tom Bombadil, spoilers, and things like that as you go. We played through 6 or 7 chapters. Yeah, we played through a bunch of chapters the other night, back to back to back, and I've been waiting for that moment to get to like really dive into some of the further scenarios, and it's so fun, man.
They're weird.
They're weird. There's really interesting challenges. We, started failing and having to replay chapters, and it has me so excited to play through the rest of Fellowship of the Ring. Man, it's so fun, man. It's just so delightfully fun. Great co-op trick taker. I've been really loving it.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. My favorite is actually also going to be a trick taker. I would choose For Northwood, the solo trick taking game. This is a really, really fun trick taking game that is a solo trick taking game, which sounds like it wouldn't work, but it does. This is a game where you are having delight. You're trying to kind of rally up support for Northwood, you know, because that's why it's For Northwood. And you're basically going around to these various like rulers. It's all very cute animal art. Yeah. You're going on these various rulers and you're having conversations with them. You're doing that through trick taking. And basically, whenever you choose, each round you're going to choose which ruler you're going to go talk to and kill. No, you're just going to talk to them. So you go to talk to them.
Into them.
And basically, each one is put out randomly, and every single ruler, you basically need to win a certain amount of tricks to be able to succeed with that conversation. And again, each one is different. It goes like 0 all the way up to like 7. And then you're going to get a certain amount of stars for succeeding these ones. The ones at the end, which are harder to do, you'll get more stars than the ones that kind of the 3 and the 4s in the middle. And then you also have these cards that you can use every time during trick taking, which essentially help you out. And the trick taking is simple. Basically, they have a deck of cards, and you're going to flip over the top card. That is what that ruler is playing. And then from your hand, you can choose what to play. Because sometimes you're like, I want to lose because I'm trying to lose a lot of tricks. Sometimes you want to win. And then you can, again, use these kinds of cards to manipulate. You can use it to draw cards, get rid of stuff, all this kind of things. It was really, really fun. And I was astonished at how well it worked. You think like, oh, there's flipping over a card. That's not interesting trick taking. But the fact that they flip it over first and then you get to decide.
Responding, essentially.
And the fact that you're trying to win a certain amount of tricks makes it a lot more interesting than it seems like it would be from the get-go.
I know, it almost seems like too simple of an idea to work, but it actually just works really well.
It works really, really well. And there's a whole campaign for it as well, which I did not get into. I was just playing the base game. It was super fun, and I cannot wait to play it more. I really like For Northwood a lot.
Man, good picks, man. Yeah, I really want to play that again.
It was fun.
It's super fun. So those are our picks. Apparently it was a trick-taking kind of month for us.
It was.
But what are your favorite things you've been playing this month? What are the favorite things you've been seeing on BoardGameGeek? Remember, it's not just the hotness and stuff. There's all sorts of forums and ways.
There's a lot to get through,
There's tons of stuff to do and ways to engage with the site and provide your own insights and feelings about games. So make sure you're doing all that stuff. There's really so much to explore, and that's why we'll be talking about it every single month. And speaking of, this month is over. We'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody.